think it'll pick up on the...
Just turn it up.
Hey! Welcome everyone to the Temporary Uncles Podcast, Episode 2, The Uncles Strike Back. No, we probably won't call it that because I don't think we're going to talk about Star Wars this time. We're going to try not to talk about Star Wars this time just because we talked about Star Wars so much the other time.
That is the aim. We did, in real life, talk about Star Wars for about 20 or 30 minutes earlier, standing in my kitchen.
Yeah.
So hopefully that has allowed us to cleanse the Lucas, the Lucas-Chlorians. We're going to retcon the type of particles that make you talk about Star Wars. I've got a high count in my blood. I'm sick.
Yeah.
I need treatment.
I've got to get overweight California men out of my blood.
I can't do a good George Lucas impression. I can do a good Brian Blessed!
We've established that, thank you.
Put Jar Jar in the movie. I want you to put Jar Jar in the movie. I think that the cats don't like him. He can sell toys. He's fluffy.
This is him talking about episode 2. Is when he's doing episode 2, he's just like,
I know he probably wouldn't make a good politician, but put Jar Jar in the movie anyway. I like Jar Jar.
I could feel there's something bubbling up on the inside. See, you're largely going to hear my guts as opposed to my fantastic impression of George. Don't burp into the microphone, you
now let's stop
disgusting
talking
pig.
about George Lucas.
Now, Nicholas, a little birdie told me, and by little birdie I mean some long-haired hippie told me...
Your brother.
No, you.
Oh.
Told me that you went and saw a film last night. What did you see?
I did. I went to the theaters, and I saw...
I'm shocked. You never go to the movies.
I went and saw 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. I didn't see the movie, I just went to Ebbing, Missouri, and I saw 3 billboards outside the town.
Isn't that like a 17-hour flight? How did you get there?
The magic of cinema.
The magic of Jar Jar?
The magic of Gungans.
Put the magic in the movie. I don't care that the battle won't make any sense. I want the Ewoks to fight the Stormtroopers. I want them to wear puce. That's my daughter's favorite color.
Leave the puce!
Put that thing back where it came from, also help me. This podcast is going off to an impeccable start.
Acapella podcast.
Oh, yes.
I told Nick to stop doing that. We decided that we're not going to have a reprise of any numbers from the jazz film.
Well,
The jazz singer, starring Neil Diamond.
You mean Al Jolson?
Oh, no,
The Jazz Singer is a 1927 film starring Al Jolson. It's the first movie to have recorded sound.
And then it was reprised in the role later. Neil Diamond played Al Jolson's part. He did.
He's no Al Jolson though.
He's not. He's not the jazz singer.
No.
But he played the jazz singer.
I had a few topics listed here. So,
why don't you tell them to me, mammy?
These are my topics. I have 2 topics.
God, you're just a hard worker, aren't you? 2 bullet points.
The 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri is a very good film. Definitely deserved the awards that it got, which is many.
Yes.
I won't be obvious.
Oh, so you can't tell us what it won?
Well, I mean, obviously it won more than just the 4 Golden Globes that it won. Sure, it'll probably be nominated for Best Picture even. It's from the director of 7 Psychopaths and In Bruges, and it is a very good movie. Very funny, but also very depressing at the same time, which is commonplace with his films.
It's funny.
I highly recommend it, though. It is very, very good movie. I have no idea, what do I sound like when I'm talking all the way over here?
Well, buddy.
Hello, darling. How do I sound?
You sound like you're from a different era. Transatlantic accent, see?
Yes. Well, that's a very good segue. We could talk about my second point, which is 30s slang.
Oh, boy, buddy.
I found a list online of 30s slang that I think...
Stop doing that immediately.
Yes. 30s slang is the... people like bringing words out of retirement, Slang in general is just becoming awful. It's just not nice to listen to.
It's all acronyms
and slay, yas, queen.
Yeah.
All just awfulness. I mean, we're gonna lose a big portion of a potential audience by saying this, but I hate most slang nowadays.
There are like 3 people that watch this show, and if it happens to be, if one of the three people happen to use words like fucking lit and woke, then maybe they'll take exception to your next piece.
I'm only okay with uses of phrases like that if it's ironic, if it's used as a joke, like hello, fellow kids.
Oh yeah, greetings, fellow kids.
Yes.
Do you happen to partake in drugs?
Okay, so we could play a little game. Is that I'll find just a funny little phrase from the 30s.
And I have to try and work out what it means.
You have to try and work out what it means. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna slap some learning on me, Daddy-o.
Okay. Behind the grind.
Behind the grind sounds like you working hard. I've been behind the grind. You see, I've worked 37 hours a week. I take my girl out to the malt shop.
Well, it's sort of like that, but you're behind on your.
Oh,
work.
okay. So you're not working hard enough.
Yes.
Johnson, where's the report? I'm behind the grind, sir.
Okay.
It's always Johnson with you, isn't it?
Johnson? Yes, Johnson.
Steve? Johnson.
No, Johnson.
Oh.
I'm Agent Johnson. This is Agent Johnson. No relation. What's that from?
I don't know.
Die Hard, bitch.
Oh.
Have you seen Die Hard?
Yes, I've seen. I think I've seen all the Die Hards.
Okay. All 4 Die Hards, because there wasn't a 5th one that came out a few years ago.
With Jai Courtney?
No.
No?
Stop.
With his son?
Stop.
Die Hardson?
Stop.
This is my son, John Die Hardson.
Blow your wig.
That sounds like a... it's either a way to try and get higher in the corporate structure, or it means that you're getting angry at something. Don't blow your wig!
It's become very excited.
Okay, I blew my wig, you see? I tried really hard to not blow my wig. When she circled her tongue on my frenulum.
When I went on the roller coaster, I really blew my wig.
It really excited me.
Girl, you really blow my wig.
Johnny, don't say things. Don't say such things. My mother's here.
A crumb.
A crumb? Ah, you're a crumb. It's you're a lowlife.
Yeah, a fink, or a loser by social standards.
You didn't clarify it anymore by using the word fink.
I know. That's what it says as the description, so... Crust.
Crust?
By the way, this is a very long list. I'm choosing very specific.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, because, like, bread is money, so is crust also money?
No, crust is to insult.
Oh.
To crust someone.
I'm gonna crust him.
I'm gonna crust him, see?
Ah, yeah.
When Mr. Putin comes to Australia, I'm going to crust him.
Egg. This is more Shakespeare.
You egg?
Yeah.
He stabs him.
A crude person. Egg is more of a Shakespearean thing.
My favorite part of it's from Macbeth, and there is a transcript, a little part of it, and it says, "You egg," and then in square brackets it says he stabs him.
Yeah.
I just like that part of the play.
Exit pursued by a bear. That's a real stage direction in I think Hamlet.
Run off stage and make sure a bear is chasing you.
Yeah.
If there is not an earth sign.
There's a good one in a Greek play that I saw. Someone did a caption of it. Not a caption.
Euripides.
They took a screenshot of it and it said Dionysus in brackets doing everything wrong. Like this.
It's
how my life is going.
Is it meant to be that the actor is supposed to
I don't know.
Improvise in that and make an attempt at just doing things around the set, or do you go that they decide do this wrong, that wrong, yeah?
It just says doing everything wrong.
Eat these grapes wrong.
Yes.
Fuck that wench wrong. Rule your kingdom wrong.
Those are not at all Greek mythology words.
No, Dionysus was a
Well, maybe eat your grapes, but wench? What are you, a pirate? Speaking of slang, gumming the works.
Gumming the works.
Gumming the works.
Well, for things to be gummed up is to not work properly, so was it to sabotage something? To gum
cause
things
something
up?
to run less smoothly.
Well, the boss man doesn't know I'm gonna gum up the works, see? And then I'll be behind my grindstone.
Hot squat.
Hot squat!
Hot squat.
It's a place you want to be. You go to the hot squat to listen to Miles Davis.
The hot squat is the electric chair.
Shit!
The place you want to be.
When you haven't got anything to live for, you go to the hot squat. It'll warm your tuchus.
Sorry, sir. I'm afraid you've been sentenced to the hot squat.
Oh. No, it's alright. I just went to sleep.
Kibosh.
the kibosh is like the news. It's like what's going down.
It just says squelch.
Excuse me?
It says that the kibosh or kibosh means squelch.
Is that also a slang?
I don't know.
I got the squelch. I said, hey, what's going down? They gave me the squelch.
God. See, the other day I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How I got in my pajamas, I'll have no idea.
Boom!
Yes. Pure Marx Brothers for you.
That was absolutely a Groucho line.
That is a Groucho line. From Animal Crackers. Which is a very funny movie.
Yeah.
Not as funny as Duck Soup, though. Duck Soup is a very good one.
Is Duck Soup the best?
Well, it's either Animal Crackers or Duck Soup. Usually, like, they're the top ones. Duck Soup is usually hailed as the best Marx Brothers film.
How does it compare to Duck Sauce?
I'm just trying that.
I like that you were up on that. You're hip to my scat, my skiddly bat, coolio, daddy-o. We won't have that, Nick. This is not the Wii shop.
You can't flog your wares around here, sonny.
Shut up!
Is that 30 slang?
Maybe. Slugburger.
What'd you call me?
Slugburger.
My family came to this country and we changed our name to Slugburger.
Adding day-old bread to ground beef.
That's terrible. A slug burger?
Yep.
Day-old bread to ground beef. Well, isn't most burgers they're bound with a breadcrumb?
I don't know. I didn't grow up in the 30s.
Do you think I did?
Yes!
You're old. You smell.
Yeah.
You flake. Every time I touch you, there's some particulate matter coming off of you. It's disgusting. I breathe it in. Some of you is in my lungs. I take you everywhere with me. Get out of my body, Nicholas.
Oh, I thought we were just talking to some random old guy, and now you're talking to me?
Yeah.
How dare you!
You slug burger.
Shake a leg.
Oh, shake. Well, to break a leg is good luck. Shake a leg is... I want to say it's either about getting somewhere quickly. Ah, shake a leg.
Yes.
Get down the street. Or it's like like after you've taken a hot waz and you're just trying to get the last drop out. You
No, shake a leg means hurry up. What's a skin tickler?
An exotic condom?
No, a skin tickler is a drummer.
Fuck off.
I'm not
That's
joking.
atrocious.
I'm not joking.
All of the drummers I don't know are pretty heavy-handed, so that doesn't really come to
Skin
mind.
tickler as in the skin on
Yeah,
the
the
drum?
skins, yeah.
Yeah.
Play the skins! Play it again, Sam!
I guess you could say that, Ringo was a pretty good skin tickler.
That's a very contemporary reference. Sure, the Beatles' parents were around in the 30s.
Maybe. What do you call that haircut?
Arthur.
A lobster.
What do you call that haircut?
Lobster.
A ring-a-ding-ding.
Oh, there was another interview that I saw.
What does that mean? What does ring-a-ding-ding mean?
Ring-a-ding-ding is... that's...
Just means good time.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
But
ring-a-ding-ding.
this rot gut or bathtub gin.
Oh, well, that's like a moonshine or hooch.
Yeah.
Grog. Piss. Booze.
Mitt me, kid!
Was that like a baseball thing? Mitt me!
Nope.
Hand me that mitt so I can go and...
Just means congratulate me.
Oh, okay, like a high five?
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
Give me some skin,
Mitt
soul
me,
brother.
kid!
woo!
Yeah!
Did they high five in the 30s?
Maybe.
Chuck us a low one.
I'll ask Siri. Hey, when was the high five invented? The high five? Two most likely sources of the high five come from sports of baseball and basketball. For years, many people have believed that the first high five took place on October 2nd, 1977. In Dodger Stadium between Glenn Burke and Dusty Baker of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I refuse to believe that the first high five that anyone had ever done was in the late 70s.
Yeah.
I think that's
The same year as Star Wars.
That is true. So,
Sorry,
we can't
sorry.
talk about that.
I mean the same year as Annie Hall.
Don't mention the war.
Don't mention the war.
Do you, Jimmy Cagney?
Don't mention the vor.
Don't talk about the fetish where people want to be eaten.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
war.
it is.
Well, carnivore is the eating of meat.
Let's go on a different topic. Now, what's the topic that you wanted to talk about, Ben?
There's something that I've been thinking about recently, and it's to do with in Australia we have a politician called Cory Bernardi, and he released a playlist.
Oh,
And-
yeah. And it was banned on Spotify.
And on that playlist it contained a number of different artists who did not see eye to eye with Mr. Bernardi's views, and that's fair enough.
Including
because
Spotify themselves
Yeah.
didn't agree with it.
Yeah, because he's a bigoted prick.
Yeah?
And so I was thinking, what if you were a creator and you released your art out there, whether it be music or graphical art, and it reached an audience or an audience member that you did not align with? How do you reconcile other people that you disagree with enjoying your art?
We are now no longer the silly cast, we are now the serious cast.
We're entering a period of philosophy known as my balls.
Known as the outer... No, yours was funnier. The outer limits. I was just going to say the Twilight Zone.
You have entered the twilight zone.
You have entered my balls.
That's not a Rush
That's what
song.
you said. Shut up.
Stop doing that.
No!
Ah!
Anyway. So,
I'm
yeah,
going to take you on a
that-
journey of sight and sound. We will explore the outer reaches of the human experience.
The outer reaches of the human scrotum.
Anyway, the serious
Stop it.
topic.
Right, so
More like tangent car. More like tangentary uncles. Ah! Ah! Ah!
you're gonna do yourself a mischief, you
Do
bastard.
myself a mischief.
Yeah.
Do yourself a flavor.
Have you not heard me say that before?
No.
You'll do yourself a mischief.
I don't know where it is that I first heard that, but I started saying it a couple years ago.
Anyway, yeah. So people with political views
Well,
and artists.
not necessarily about politics, but even if it's just someone that you disagree with or dislike. So let's say
Yeah.
that you released a video and someone that you didn't like retweeted it or posted or shared it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And they were touting it and saying it was great, but it was
Yeah.
someone who was like a huge anti-Semite or a huge homophobe or someone who was a criminal or someone that you didn't like.
Well, I've seen
How would
something.
you feel?
I've seen something like this happen on Twitter when JonTron was he was praising the work of Neil Cicierega, but then Neil responded in like kind of criticizing JonTron because at that point in time JonTron was very controversial on Twitter.
Because he'd made a few racial comments.
No, this was
himself.
about this was in like a few years ago when he called the PlayStation Now retarded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and people called him ableist because he called the PlayStation Now retarded. Anyway, I don't really want to go into that. All right, but yeah, I just saw that as that's an interesting example of the kind of thing you're talking about, and that JonTron really liked the work of Neil Cicierega, but Neil Cicierega wasn't a very big fan of JonTron himself.
Yeah.
This was in 2014, mind you, so they've probably changed opinions by now. Maybe they probably.
Possibly. Well, JonTron has gone
Either
and
that or they
had
probably
more
just-
controversy since then.
He's also apologized profusely for that, but let's not go into that. But yeah, that's just an example. Another example from the 20s being that Adolf Hitler really liked the movie Metropolis, the German film Metropolis, which is still heralded as one of the greatest films of all time. Or the fact that he really liked the work of Charlie Chaplin up until The Great
Dictator, and he was heartbroken that Charlie Chaplin would make a mockery of him.
Yeah, which he then released an edited version of that movie in Nazi Germany, where it changed the feature film, which was I think about an hour and 40 minutes or something, and edited it to about 15 minutes, made it a short film, and edited out anything that would be considered defamatory towards Hitler or the Nazi regime.
Well, I was gonna say, like, to edit that film, how much of that film does not contain derisive material towards Hitler? If Charlie Chaplin's on screen, then he's making fun of Adolf Hitler. I don't understand. But how much is left?
I don't know. Film? I haven't seen either version of the movie yet, so I can't say.
Right. So let's say you make a video, and then and then someone shares it on
Ajit Pai.
Yeah, Ajit Pai shares it on his Facebook page, saying you can still make videos like this after net neutrality has been repealed.
Haha, funny joke. I would respond by saying, to be honest, this is not the best example, considering the net neutrality rules mainly affect the US.
They only affect the US.
Let's pick a different example. Let's pick a different person. Pick fucking Lele Pons. And to be honest, if anything, that's a little more realistic, just because she's a content creator, if you can call that content.
Yeah.
Anyway, if Lele Pons say she praised my work, to be honest,
how would you feel?
It would feel weird for me, just having someone who is so untalented and unfunny praising my work, meaning that she has some semblance of a sense of humor similar to mine.
Or possibly the idea that...
Or if it was, say, one of my more serious films, like the Shutdown, which I just made. You can watch it on vimeo.com/nickowens/shutdown. Or the one that I made for Tropfest, which I haven't released yet. But I don't know. It'd be weird, like people like Jake Paul, or people who I think are
abhorrent
people, and God forbid,
just poor
God forbid somehow
behavior.
Jake Paul finds this podcast and listens to it.
He's gonna dab on you. All right, you have to prepare for that.
But it's just it'd be so weird. I don't know. I can't think of any word apart from weird and strange.
Well, you'd have to sort of look at yourself and go, well, the content that I created is in part a reflection of me and what I find to be entertaining or meaningful.
Yeah.
And if someone else that I don't like has enjoyed that must mean that there are parts of our personalities, parts of our preferences that that overlap. So in this case, Ms. Pons looks at this and goes, I find this funny. This is similar to my sense of humor.
Of course, this always depends on what it is she is finding funny. If it's one of my like, haha, funny jokes, it's one of my like jokes that's just not actually funny.
Like a bad joke?
It's funny ironically, as in like it's made to be bad and funny in that sense. It's like an ironic joke.
But she praises it as a serious work.
As actual funny, then I would completely understand that she finds it funny. But if she finds something funny that's like actually well done, it's like subtle humor or something very well done. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but
she watches one of the episodes of Untitled Science Show and she comments on like, I can see you've been influenced by Alan Resnick. I really enjoy the surrealist point of view.
David Lynch.
Yes, Eraserhead is one of my favourite films. We should get together and talk about that. Hey,
it'd be so weird
are you familiar with
Lele
Stanley
Pons
Kubrick's
actually...
filmography? It's great. The work environment that he created on The Shining was unparalleled to anything like that. In fact,
talking about Kubrick?
Yeah.
Okay, good. For a second, I thought I couldn't hear you properly, and I thought you said David Lynch directed The Shining.
In fact, the female lead completely lost her mind because of Kubrick's abuse, and that's just because he's an interesting person. If she did that and you went, oh my god, we're similar,
it would be such a blow to the brain for me to find out that Lele Pons has more than 5 brain cells. Ooh. But like, this is the woman who went up to a wedding
bone-hurting juice,
caked the bride for a vine.
Did she know the bride?
No.
She just
random wedding.
She walked into a wedding she was not invited
It hasn't been proved as fake yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
It
probably was, but the fact that like she's supposed to make it seem that it's real, regardless of the fact that it is fake, she's making us believe that she's a horrible person because of the fact that she went up to a random bride and caked her in the face.
Well, that's the worst part, is that
she says that this is funny. We're meant to believe that this is funny from her, but we actually just think of her as a horrible person. Yeah. Even if it is fake. The context of the video in itself is just awful.
Well, yeah, or the prank culture and the now defunct Vine culture, which has come over to places like Instagram and YouTube.
There's two different kinds of Vine culture. there's two halves to Vine. There were popular Viners, and there were, just for the sake of a colloquial term, I'll call it hipster Viners, even though they're actually funny, talented people.
As in people that weren't known.
Indie Viners and stuff, you know? You got your Jake Pauls, your Lele Pons, your Joey Criseffas, Nash Greer, all those people in the popular page. You got a few people in that area, like...
Peaks?
You got a few people in that area who are actually talented. People like Thomas Sanders. He's like in the middle of popular and indie Viners. Because he's like actually quite popular, but he doesn't do the same kind of stuff as the popular page Viners. The hashtag popular page Viners. You know, but then you've
relatable content,
and then on the other side, you've got people like Rex Testarossa, Matt Post, Pastor Chute, Sarah Shower, a whole bunch of other people in that area. Drew Gooden, a whole bunch of other people in that area.
Bo Burnham?
Yeah, Bo Burnham kind of, but he's like a stand-up comedian, and he wasn't really part of Vine culture. He just made
but
Vines.
he used it, and he's a funny man.
Yeah,
I respect his work.
He stopped making Vines in 2015.
Right, so the people that were the shitlords of Vine who
hashtag popular page Viners and the indie Viners.
Relatable. Those who have then since migrated over to places like Instagram and YouTube, the people
have only gotten more successful as well since then.
Those who have gone over, and then the pre-existing prank culture, the most reprehensible part of that is that they play it out as if it were real. They go, look what I did, see the success that I had in this situation. So then the largely younger audience that they have, because the people that are attracted to that sort of content, they're largely slapstick, just brainless content where it's like...
Well, slapstick can be funny.
No, slapstick can be funny, but this is like... Well, Stooges slapstick can be clever.
Yeah.
But then you got this shit where you walk up to
this
supposedly...
This is the equivalent of someone slipping on a banana.
It's worse than that.
It's someone. The
example that they.
I don't know, because I find people walking into walls funny.
Well, that's just you. You can take pleasure in other people's misfortune.
This is the equivalent of a joke where the fart is the joke.
Yeah,
that's the wrong kind of fart. This is. Sorry to go on off a different tangent, but I just want to say that I have my little philosophy of what makes a good fart joke.
Yeah.
So the bad kinds of fart jokes are the ones where the joke itself is the fart. I mean, the fart itself is
the fart should punctuate the joke.
Exactly.
There should be a joke that is facilitated by the fart.
The joke must be built around the fart.
Yes, there has to be substance other than the fart.
Yes. A few exceptions to the joke are Blazing Saddles, where fart jokes weren't commonplace.
Yeah, well, that was the first cinematic fart.
Yes.
People didn't fart in cinema.
Joke, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean... You never got swearing in... It's such a weird thing to think that you didn't get swearing in films until the 70s.
Yeah.
The first ever toilet flush scene on screen was in Psycho.
1960.
60, yeah. It's just weird thinking that like cinema's been around so long, and yet swearing in cinema has only been around since 1976.
In fact, actually...
MASH. The movie MASH was the first ever thing. And I remember, just speaking of MASH, you said Bill Paxton played Hawkeye in MASH. Yeah. I just thought I should probably just go on that, so people don't think you're an absolute moron from listening to the first episode.
Like, think that anyway. Like, I actually went back and I checked, who are those people that I mentioned are actually still alive and what they did.
Yeah.
I needed to work out who those people are. So, like, it's like, where you have, like, jokes with vulgarity, where the whole joke is just like, oh, fuck! Yeah, that's not a joke on its own.
Sausage Party.
Where it's just like, they said a swear word. That's funny.
What's a weird thing about Sausage Party is that it's made by people who are actually funny, and yet half the joke of the movie is, "Hey, it's an animated movie, and we're saying fuck."
I know. Well, that I suppose that was trying to play into shock value.
Except they were
meant to go. How can we shock people? How can we make them go? Oh.
There are animated movies where they swear, and it is funny.
I mean, there have been South Park films.
South Park made one film.
Yeah?
There was one I watched recently.
The bigger, the longer, the uncut?
Yeah. Bigger, longer, and uncut. Yeah. There was the Oscar-nominated South Park animated film. It wasn't nominated for Best Animated Film, which it should have been, because I don't think they had the Oscar for animated film when they did that movie.
Did it win for comedy?
No, it was nominated for Best Song.
Best Song.
The movie is technically a musical.
Okay, I don't even know. It could be musical and comedy, but that's the same.
No, Oscars, not.
Oh, right.
It was nominated for Best Song at the Oscars, right? And but because the Oscars is kind of against what Trey Parker and Matt Stone are about.
Yeah.
So of course they showed up high on LSD, dressed in drag, and so they then lost the Oscar to Phil Collins because of Tarzan, and they're convinced that they lost because of the stunt that they pulled, and not because Phil Collins is a better musician. Because, to be honest, the Blame Canada is a great composition. Blame Canada is a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Phil Collins.
Yeah, but he's already won a whole bunch of awards. This is
Yes.
the first big recognition that they got. Anyway, back to Vine culture.
Yeah, so the worst part of that is that they make it out to be real. So when a younger viewer watches it and sees that they can have success, if we use your example where Lily Pons supposedly shows up to a wedding that she's not invited to and then assaults the bride.
Yeah.
If people look at that and
and,
go...
and the bride tackles her to the ground afterwards as well.
Yeah.
So
'cause
just to add more to the
then you have that
Vine.
wop, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. You see them fight and they go,
Yeah. Well, it's only about 6 seconds, but yeah.
relatable! Because you know how many times that's happened in your life. And then people replicate it.
An even worse example from Lele
Yeah.
is that she supposedly donated her hair to charity.
Yes, and she didn't.
In the photo, you can see that the hair that she's holding are extensions.
Yep.
She did get a haircut, because you can tell that her
It's
hair is shorter, but the hair that she's holding are extensions.
I know, and that's terrible. There were people, like, there was one that I saw...
And people still believed her. She has a fan base, somehow.
Well, that's the thing.
She was the #1 most watched Viner of all time.
Well, yeah, because she is emblematic of a number of extremely young and rabid fan bases. For example, the Paul brothers, where you look at them and they will defend both of them to the tooth and nail, vehemently, because they have so much adoration for them that regardless of what they do, they stand behind them. And that is in part because you don't exactly develop critical thinking skills to a fine point
And it's
until
probably
you're older.
also...
And also because when you're young, you can develop such strong attachments to people.
She was only a teenager while she was on Vine as well, so that might have something to do with the fact that she's an idiot. She's 21, so...
And whether she stands by what she does on a personal level, or if she recognizes its success and continues to do it
she's
to support herself.
She's on Rice Gum levels of pretentiousness, so yeah.
I feel that Rice Gum is...
Jake Paul levels of pretentiousness, then.
Yeah, well, Rice Gum, I feel...
Self-importance.
He doesn't have the self-awareness that he should. There are lots of people...
He still has a... Oh, yeah, okay. I can't really say that Rice Gum's on a high level of pretentiousness, because he does have some level of self-awareness.
Well,
even if it's a low level, he has some level of self-awareness.
Well, he looks at himself and he goes, I'm bragging, but he doesn't understand his own hypocrisy.
Exactly,
And he doesn't understand why people would look at him and go, look, mate, you're probably showing off to an extent that is... not classy. Not to say that everyone has to be an upstanding citizen or to try and uphold value.
I mean, everyone should be a good person, but
I would recommend everyone to endeavor to act in a way that the least amount of people are affected negatively. Yeah.
Like, it's hard in the world of comedy to say, oh, everyone be a good person, because offensive comedy is funny.
Well, yeah,
when it's in good taste.
Yeah, offensive, to what extent and to whom depends. So, like, I believe that everything can be made fun of,
but not everything should be made fun
of. Well, I think
you can make there are jokes you can make about the September 11 attacks.
Yeah,
but to actually, you can't attack the people who died in the attack, or that kind of thing. When you're offending people who died in the Holocaust, or people who died in, like, these events that people like to make jokes about, you can make jokes, you can make light of things like that. Make fun of Hitler.
Yeah, well, okay.
Make fun of Hitler. But don't make fun of the 6 million Jews who died in the concentration camps.
Oddly enough, I would disagree with you. I would say that you can, and if you would like to, should make fun of anything. However, it is anything that exists.
Yeah.
However, it is up to the individual to decide whether they do, because if you do something and someone gets upset, it is on the individual to be upset, but it is also on you whether you make the joke around them.
Yeah.
For example, you can, and people often do make jokes about cancer. However, if you know someone that has cancer and you make a cancer joke in front of them, you're an asshole.
Yes.
You're welcome to do it, and you can, and I will fight for your right to do it. However, you have to accept that you're a dickhead and that you are going to make things unpleasant for the person that has cancer.
Yeah, I think when you're personally attacking someone, it's no longer a joke.
Well,
there's a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between what we're doing in making fun of Lele Pons and in just going out of our way to personally attack her with no semblance of irony or actual comedic value to it.
Well, I would say that we could. However, we
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that we could, but we would then have to be okay with knowing that we are being unpleasant to her, that we are being responsible for making her unhappy. So we can, and if we wanted to, we could, but it's then on us whether we're okay with being an asshole. So you can make a joke about whatever you want.
When I say, Lele Pons has more than 5 brain cells, that's a joke. And it's obviously a joke. No one has less than 5 brain cells.
Yeah.
You couldn't survive with
And it's up to you to look at yourself and go, do I want to make this person unhappy? And if that's your goal, then go for it. But you then have to accept that people may lash back. So when people when people bellyache about the freedom,
why a lot of famous Viners and Instagrammers and YouTubers that don't understand this.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't get that you probably shouldn't be a dick just for the sake of views.
You can, but you then have to go, well, is there going to be a backlash? Are people going to look back at me and go, hey, Peaks, that was a dick move.
Hey, Logan,
don't do that.
Probably shouldn't film a dead body.
Okay, well, that is different in the sense that he may then be tried for desecrating a corpse.
Well, I think, that's different in the fact that he's just an absolute idiot.
And his family could the family of the victim could sue for damages there.
Yeah.
So in that case,
luckily for them, they blurred out the face, so we don't know who the victim was.
They could probably match it if they went, okay, we know what this person looked like before they died.
Back to your original point, I think I would just feel weird if someone who I didn't liked something that I made.
Yeah.
If Justin Bieber, who I despise, said that he liked The Burgling, then I'd just say, okay, cool.
Dude, The Burgling is your best work. I watch it every day. I fuck to it. I put it on the shower. It invigorates me. I hear The Burgling and I go, I want to make something good with my existence, please.
Well, if The Burgling were to inspire Justin Bieber to stop being a prick, then I would love it. If he said that he liked it and he was actually a decent person and he wasn't, what he wants the world to think of him as, all we know about Justin Bieber is what he wants us to know. Most of the time, apart from, for example, when he was arrested.
Yeah, because that was caught by other people. So
but most of the stuff that these awful people put out, we only know that they're awful because the stuff that they put out paints a picture of them being awful.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's a certain sense of lack of self-awareness where they don't realize that what they're putting out is awful and makes them look awful.
Well, that's
because
certainly
they get millions of views for doing these awful things.
Yeah, well, that's certainly a grey area. It could be that both of the Paul brothers are really educated men and sit down every night and go, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can continue to lead on these teenage girls.
Yeah.
And there could also be the fact that they go home and pat themselves on the back and go, I'm an artist. I'm an inspiration. These people's lives are better because I am hustling every day, bro.
Which is probably more likely the
there
option.
There is a good chance that they are actually
considering
considering
they do it every day. There's a very, very low chance that they are actually not like what they show us.
Yeah.
Considering they like to film every single day of their life, so it's very hard for them to have to put that on every day if they are indeed intellectuals.
What if they're just method actors?
There's a difference between method acting 24/7 and if it's a character act, then bravo, you. I don't
what
like like there's for example there are channels on YouTube where it's like they've got a lot of content on that channel and it's made to seem real like a vlog and all that, but they're putting on a character the whole time.
who is that?
Lonely
Is
Gold-
it Poppy? The
That's not a vlog channel. That's an art project.
No, well, she
Poppy.
has created a character.
She didn't create. She is the actress playing the character of Poppy, created by a man named Titanic Sinclair.
Oh, okay.
And
so
basically,
she's not behind
the
that.
character of Poppy is supposed to be a parody of pop music,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That's different from what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things like Alan Tutorial and Lonely Girl 15, where these are. I mean, obviously, Lonely Girl 15 became a web series recently instead of being what it originally was. But stuff like that is a very good example of channels where they make it seem like they are a real person when they actually aren't. Alan Tutorial delves into dark science fiction later on in the show, but it starts off being Alan Resnick playing a mentally disabled adult thinking that he's a child, making YouTube tutorials on his dad's phone.
Yeah.
And uploading them to YouTube.
What
Or
if
his older brother's phone. Or
what if
something like that.
both Jake and Logan Paul are actually Daniel Day-Lewis?
I mean, he did retire in 2012 when the Logan brothers started.
Yeah. I'd like to think that he's both of them.
But,
'Cause he's
but,
that
but
good.
he recently got out of retirement to make Phantom Thread. So I don't think he'd have the time to make Phantom Thread and be both of the Paul brothers at the same time.
I think he was knighted recently, wasn't he?
He's American.
Isn't he?
He's American.
I think because I didn't think that he was an Englishman because I heard from somewhere that that someone knighted him.
No.
And I thought it was a bit
Let me
odd.
check. Let me check real quick.
I don't know where Daniel Day-Lewis is from because he's just been so many different people.
Daniel Day-Lewis is American. I know that.
I thought he was.
Oh, what? He's English.
Ah!
He played Abraham Lincoln, and he's English.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Okay, you are correct. He was knighted.
Yeah.
Sir Daniel Michael Blake Day-Lewis.
He's that good.
Yeah.
He fooled you into thinking that he was an American.
Yeah, well, because he's in so many American movies.
Because he's good.
yeah,
He
well,
was a Native American in The Last of the Mohicans. He was you know, true blue first American.
He's in There Will Be Blood and Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He was a New Yorker.
there was another one
And
recently.
Gangs
I'm
of
trying to
New
remember.
York.
There was another actor recently where I only recently found out that they were not the nationality that I thought they were. I'm
Take
trying to
some
remember
meat
who it
for your
was.
trouble.
I'm just trying to remember who it was. It was a I feel like I'm always so far away from the mic. I need to get closer to the microphone.
We'll just put some.
I need to get closer to the microphone. Yeah.
That's too close.
Oh, is this too close?
It must have. I guess if this is how people felt when they found out that Hugh Jackman wasn't Canadian, because Wolverine's Canadian.
Did you say that you found out that Hugh Jackman wasn't Canadian?
No, when people found out.
Oh, when people did.
I knew from the beginning that he was from Australia.
Yeah.
Right. But this is, I guess, me finding out that Daniel Day-Lewis is not American is basically how people felt when they found out that. There's a lot of actors that actually,
Well, same with Gary Oldman. Is that he had to go to see a dialect coach to teach him to sound
yeah, but
English again.
I already knew that he was English before I watched The Dark Knight because he was in Harry Potter movies.
Or like I only knew.
And I know that the only actor in the Harry Potter movies, apart from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the only American actor within the franchise was Warwick Davis.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I forgot the Warwick Davis.
He was the
in that 'cause
only
he's
non-UK actor
Professor
from the,
Flitwick.
yeah.
Warwick
Davis. Davis. He was one of the Ewoks as well.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking because you know, Life is Short with Ricky Gervais. Isn't that Warwick Davis?
I believe so.
Because he's English, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, you said
no, Warwick Davis.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm not. Sorry, not Warwick Davis. The other guy, the other dwarf.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy who played R2.
Yeah, no, the guy who played Mini-Me.
Kenny Baker.
The guy who played Mini-Me, not
Oh.
Kenny Baker. Percy something.
Oh, is he in Harry Potter?
Yes.
So it's not Warwick Davis in Harry
No,
Potter.
not Warwick Davis. This is what comes up when I type in Percy Dwarf. It's Gordon Ramsay's dwarf porn double, Percy Foster, who died in a badger den.
Oh, please, just link that picture in the description.
Okay.
Link it. People need to see that image. When the time comes, you will click the link, and you two will share in the moment that we have had. Thank you. Dwarf Talk.
Vern Troyer.
That's
Vern
him.
Troyer, the character Percy.
Mini-me.
He played a character called Percy
Percy.
in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Percy.
I don't know. I was thinking of him as Percy because he played Percy in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Lord Percy.
Another funny thing about that is the fact that most of the actors in that are also English, except for Vern Troyer. Vern Troyer is the only American actor in all of the Harry Potter films until he played the character of Griphook.
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 Is he a goblin?
Yes.
Is he a Jew
Griphook was
allegory?
Griphook was then played by Warwick Davis in the last Harry Potter movies.
Oh. Okay, so
Yeah.
is he
So
the...
he was in Philosopher's Stone.
Oh,
which,
okay, yeah, he's
no.
the banker.
I think Griphook was always played by... No, yeah, Warwick Davis also played...
Griphook.
No, both of them played Griphook. Let's stop this dwarf talk.
Why not?
I'm gonna cut that
Dwarf Talk.
No, okay.
Spam it in the comments. I want to hear about Dwarf Talk. Tell me about your dwarf stories. Are you a dwarf? I've got a friend who's 4'11", and she's the shortest that you can be
That's
before
done.
you are a dwarf.
Speaking of dwarfs,
Good segue.
yeah.
Good talk.
Speaking of dwarfs, Peter Dinkles was in 3 Billboards.
I have a
Just
love
thought-
for Peter Dinklage.
Just thought I'd let you
Petey
know.
Dinkles.
But let's quit this dwarf talk and talk about something else.
Hashtag Dwarf Talk.
Hashtag dwarf talk.
Now, Nicholas,
Yes.
do you know of a band called Chaim?
Chaim.
Chaim.
L'chaim?
Not L'chaim, and that was the thing, is because there was a song of theirs that I was thinking about, and I couldn't remember the name of the song, but I knew the name of the band.
Yes.
And so I went on YouTube and I typed in Chaim, but I typed it Chaim, and when you do that, you just get a mixture of like Jewish prayer and like segments from Fiddler on the Roof, and then that bit in Big Bang Theory where Shellborg gets drunk and Bep Zinke's the audience.
Beb Zinkel.
He gets the end sort of,
Zimbabwe.
you know, he does that and he plays piano for them.
This piano isn't working.
Turns out that it's Haim, and so they're a group and a group of sisters, and they are Jewish.
Yes.
And because I was out at a pub and
At the pub.
oh, pub well they had
Out at the pub.
I was at the pub getting ratted. I was having a cheeky Nando's with the lads. And so at this Kelly's pub in Cranbourne.
A pub.
Go to Kelly's pub right now. You can get 15% off
The
shells.
Temporary Uncles podcast is sponsored by Kelly's Pub.
Yes.
But by Paddy's Pub.
Right, old Shannon Authority was going to do.
I like time Paddy's pub.
Old Potatoes pub.
Right, so I went there and I could sit there to TV and the volume was down and it was a loud pub, so I couldn't tell what song it was, but I could see it was Chaim. And yeah, the video clip was lots of close-up shots of their faces, and there was like hip gyration and dancing, and I went, I'm gonna watch this when I get home. And I took me ages to go back, and I went and watched it, and it was called If I Could Change Your Mind.
I could change your bazinga.
If I could change your babzoople.
If I could change your diaper.
If I could change your shell door.
Shellman's Big Bang Bazinga Bing Bong Burger.
Lenbog. Shell door.
I mean, to be honest, there are...
Hongus.
The Big Bang Theory is the kind of show where, like, episodes are not funny, but there's, like, the occasional joke that makes me chuckle.
I found that early...
I used to like Big Bang Theory, okay?
Early Big Bang was good.
Then I became, self-aware.
Yeah, well, I liked the first season or two.
I think, and this is not a detriment to the actress or the character themselves, but I think once Amy entered the show, it stopped being funny. Or even when Bernadette entered the show. But
Actually, yeah.
Bernadette had her moments, and then she became a feminazi.
Yeah, well, I think Sheldon...
Which is ironic, because she's married
Sheldon
to
held a niche...
Gigolo.
Well, Sheldon held a niche in which he was sort of this high-functioning autistic man. He had really big problems with interpersonal communication. He didn't really know how to interact with other people.
The weirder part is the fact that he's not, like, canonically autistic.
Yeah. Trying to shoehorn him into a relationship, and as I watch, like on Channel 9 periodically, you'll see an ad that's like, it's like what's happening with Sheldon and Amy? And
Yeah.
Amy's and
Amy pregnant?
and
How
Shelman
is Prangent formed?
Shelman's like, Amy, I will touch your breasts. And
Bazinga. This is my robot voice, if anyone couldn't hear. Well, I'm going to introduce you to the character of my robot voice.
I will insert myself into your rectum.
I will insert my finger into your urethra.
I'll have a narrow urethra.
I can hardly squeeze a drop out of that one, boy.
Bazinga.
My urethra is not correct.
See, I said bazinga, so you would go back to your tangent about the ball-born theory.
Yeah, so the trying to change him and make him into a relationship and make him more functional than he already was destroyed what little character they had of
Yeah.
Shellman.
What's funny is that Leonard's like one of the more hated characters by fans of the show, but the funny thing is that he's actually more... Like, he's probably the most... He's probably the best character for people who don't watch the show, because he's the one there reacting to the weird stuff going on. He's the only, like, semi-normal person out of them. He's a nerd, right?
Yeah.
And he's not the only big stereotypical one, because of the fact that he's actually got a normal human sex drive. He's got he's got interests in things that lots of people do. He's in... It may be a niche audience, a lot of the things that he's interested in, but he's got a lot of memorabilia, which... Anyway... He just seems like the only normal person there, because you've got Raj is just a stereotypical Indian man who also has a stereotypical nerd fear of girls.
He's just sort of punchy.
Howard is just a a Jewish stereotype
He
who
is.
is overly into girls, and which is another sort of stereotypical nerd. And then Sheldon is just a human robot. So
Yeah, well...
Leonard seems like the only, and Penny, stereotypical dumb blonde. Of
Yeah.
course, they all seem to evolve into more realistic people as the show goes on, but part of their stereotypicalness is also what made the show a bit funny earlier on, but that's why Leonard's probably my favourite character out of the four, because he's the only one who feels like a real person.
Well, I would agree that Leonard is he's still meant to be an outcast and a nerd, and that the people who aren't in that culture look at him and go, but he's the least extreme of all the
The
characters.
episode when, the flashback episode when he first meets Sheldon is actually funny. But it's probably only funny because we know who these characters are beforehand.
Yes.
Yeah.
On its own, it would have just been two men meeting.
Yeah.
And isn't this man strange? But the fact that he's been in this life and he's gotten used to Sheldon after all that time, he's sort of been the caretaker of Sheldon for that long.
Yeah. But Chuck Lorre does not know how to kill a show.
Yeah, well, he
didn't end 2.5 Men properly.
Yeah, well,
2.5 Men should have ended when Charlie left the show. They shouldn't have continued the show because
with Ashton Kutcher.
The whole point of the show, which was what made it funny, and to be fair, I have not seen an episode of the show since I stopped watching it when it finished.
Yeah.
But what made the show funny was the fact that Alan and Charlie were complete opposites from each other, and they were brothers.
Well, Charlie Sheen was
Right?
just Charlie Sheen in a show.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's that these characters were complete opposites from each other.
Is that Alan is a stiff
but
and
they were-
Charlie is him?
But they were brothers.
Yeah.
And they lived together, didn't they?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
because Alan was sort of down on his luck. I think he got kicked out of his
Yeah.
house because he
was divorced.
and
yeah.
so he had to go and live with his
Anyway,
brother, who
as
was
I
a
was
bachelor.
saying,
Yeah.
but making that dynamic is what made the show funny, right?
Yeah.
And also the fact that it was 2.5 Men, and then once Jake got old enough, it stopped being 2.5 Men and started
It
being
became three men.
Three
Yeah.
Men, yeah. Of course, they still called it 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
And then when they replaced Charlie with Walden,
Yeah.
the character played
Two
by
men
Ashton
and Ashton
Kutcher,
Kutcher.
they just they got rid of a character who was the complete opposite of Alan,
Yeah.
and got a character who was like
Much closer to
basically
Alan.
Alan but rich.
Yeah. Because
and a bit
he's
more
still
of
a
a
nice
ladies'
guy.
man.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. The difference is that he's got money and he's
And
more
so
attractive.
it stopped being the odd couple and became the one's poor and one's rich, but they're pretty much the same character.
couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that couple.
Yeah. The two kind of different guys. Like one's got a beard and he's tall and he's got a
Yeah.
kid couple. That's what it is.
Yeah, and then I mean, once Jake basically left the show, he only had cameos and Skype
Yeah, it's just
calls.
like I'm in the military, my penis.
Yes, I now have a sex drive.
He always did. He even when he was like fucking
Yeah, but
12,
he was never
trying
like
to
he
bastardize
was
him.
never Howard Wolowitz.
No, he's not quite Howard.
No.
So yeah, in both cases, Chuck Lorre doesn't really know how to finish it because it makes him huge amounts of money.
I saw Johnny Galecki one time, actually. When I went to America and we went to the Warner Brothers studios, I saw Johnny Galecki on a break, smoking outside the studio.
You should have been like,
with a full beard.
yeah.
And that was back when I used to watch The Big Bang Theory. And while I was on that holiday, I got that Bazinga shirt that you see in a bunch of my videos.
Oh yeah.
I only ever wear it ironically in my videos, though. So
You should have gone up to him like, hey,
well, he was like really far away. We were in a cart.
Hey, got any more episodes of Roseanne coming out?
Hi, I'm Roseanne.
I'm Roseanne Barr.
Ghost. I don't know what that was.
That was close. That was actually really close. You had a musical.
Now that we're done talking about Chuck Lorre and we're done talking about all the other stuff we're talking about, I think now's a good time for us to end the second episode of the Temporary Uncles podcast, because we don't want all of them to be 90 minutes long. So
No, we'd prefer to keep it sort of about
than,
an hour.
maybe less than an hour.
We'll probably cut it down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this one will obviously be cut down, but yeah. So to end today's episode, I'll do a real quick